Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now getting closer to the very end of October, and with that being said, a lot of Star Wars fans are really embracing what's about to be done in Tales of the Jedi, given that each episode, unfortunately, is very short, some of which ranging from 10 to 13 minutes long. It is only going to be 6 episodes. These are labeled as short stories, so to speak. So before the real stuff begins with the Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka series, we're going to be focusing more on Tales of the Jedi that marks the very end of 2022's Star Wars material. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, with Disney not just focusing on TV shows and lore, such as the books, the comics, the video games, they are also gearing up on focusing on the new Star Wars movies, either in the form of new trilogies or one-off films, etc. And a lot of that is being reworked as we speak behind the scenes. Now, everything related to John, George, and Dave is that they are all working hand in hand with really making things possible again. Really trying to bring back the magic and that good feeling of Star Wars. Dave Filoni always likes to call it that good feeling. You know when you guys see the original trilogy pop up on TBS or something like that, and you get that real positive, fun feeling, and you can just watch those movies from start to finish? Basically, Favreau and Filoni want to bring that back to the Star Wars franchise. They want to create that magic again. And that is something that I think a lot of fans are excited about. Now, with that being said, everything ranging from what Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to do between movies and TV shows, what's really all the more interesting is that with many new Star Wars projects in the works at the same exact time, Disney executives are now regrouping and forming multiple plans on how to course correct the franchise. However, it's noted that just recently, Disney executives recently made some big changes behind the scenes. Now, it's noted that both Favreau and Filoni, as well as Lucas, are handling the new Star Wars movies as well, while hiring new creatives to come on board. One of the new trilogies is set to focus on the Old Republic era, and will be considered the 4th trilogy of films that are in the early development phase that is set to cast actor Keanu Reeves, who has already been attached to the new series of movies. John and Dave, along with Lucas, are already creating storyboards for the Old Republic movies and even a single one-off TV show that will be introduced on Disney Plus by 2024 that will focus on the Sith. Now, with Reeves set to play Darth Vitiate in the new movies, Favreau and Filoni are making it canon that they will be tweaking the character's design a bit to change things up slightly. Now, let me just pause here quick before we get to the real exciting stuff, is that we've been talking about this for a while now. It's been an on and off scenario of getting Keanu Reeves on board of a new Star Wars trilogy, so to speak. And it is moving forward. Disney's trying their absolute hardest to also get him a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Keanu Reeves is basically popping up in a lot of different franchises. He almost kind of reminds me of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, of how he's popping up in multiple franchises. I mean, now we have The Rock in the DC universe with the Black Adam movie. And we're getting a lot of great examples like that with Keanu Reeves. He's popping up in multiple franchises again. So, with that being said, Favreau and Filoni making him Darth Vitiate, and also tweaking the character's design. In case you guys don't know who Darth Vitiate is, go ahead and look him up. They are going to be tweaking that design a bit. Now, on to the next thing that I think is even all the more important about this recent development, is that, of course, Reeves is set to actually have a story where he will be training the Eternal Twins, also known as Arcan and Thexan. This has already been illustrated in storyboards that will be used for both the 4th trilogy and the one-off show. Now, John and Dave's plan is to focus on Darth Vitiate training the Eternal Twins in the show, that eventually showcases those characters growing up to be powerful Sith warriors in the upcoming Star Wars lore. So one thing I do want to point out about this is that it's kind of parallel or kind of serving as a mirror, in a sense, to the Skywalker twins. You know, the Skywalker twins was a big deal between Luke and Leia in the originals and the sequel trilogy movies, of course, and the lore that comes in between. Now we have this fourth trilogy that's going to focus on the Old Republic, that's going to have a dark side version of all of that. Basically, dark side twins. And that is something that I think is very important, because George Lucas has been pointing this out from the very beginning, that when you look at Star Wars, it's really like it's poetry and it rhymes, essentially. It's like poetry, it rhymes. That's really the overall point of Star Wars and why it's so engaging, is that there are multiple parallels to everything related to all the characters and the scenarios that they find themselves in. And it's at no surprise here that Favreau and Filoni want to introduce the Eternal Twins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they are very big in the Old Republic video games and the cutscenes. In there, there's actually quite a struggle between those two characters. So they're going to be focusing on that, making certain tweaks to the designs of those characters and the stories that are told. Now further, the Eternal Twins is set to be a big part of the upcoming trilogy of movies that Disney executives are working very hard on a timeline for when they want to begin production on these movies. Now again, so far there are 3 separate trilogies that Disney is focusing on, one of which is tentative, one of which is in the early development phase, and the other of which, being this one, is already being worked on specifically and has been for a while now. Now, the Old Republic trilogy, I think, is the real game changer, because it's going to introduce an era that we have never seen before in live action. Let's be clear. We have never seen this in live action before. And it's going to totally outperform what's going to be introduced with the High Republic and the Acolyte series. I believe so, without question. Now, when you look at it like this too, a lot of fans would love, or have been asking, for Keanu Reeves to portray Darth Revan. That unfortunately is not going to be the case. It's, more geared towards him becoming now Darth Vitiate, alright, also known as Tenebrae. There's a lot of sinister, traits to this character that I think really makes Palpatine look like a good guy. That's how sinister this character really is. If you guys want to read up on Darth Vitiate, go ahead. I mean, it's very involved stuff. There's a lot of great Legends material that just tells you the full history of his actual life. And he's been pretty much, doing a lot of sinister acts since like the age of like 12 or something like that. Now, moving on past this, alright, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this, because obviously the fourth trilogy, as we have been talking about this for quite some time, in the beginning, it was set to focus on an original era that was based on nothing. Now they're focusing on the Old Republic era, which is great news. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.